Hi, good day. Welcome to our lecture. For this session, we will be discussing our lesson regarding the nature and effect of obligations. Starting with Article 1163. Okay? Article 1163 pertains to obligation to give. The law is very clear that every person obliged to give something is also obliged to take care of it with the proper diligence of a good father of a family, unless the law or the stipulation of the parties requires another standard of care. So let's scrutinize this provision. So, as mentioned a while back, this provision of the law is only applicable to obligations to give. Remember that we have basically three kinds of obligation as to subject matter: obligation to give, to do, or not to do. And this provision pertains only to obligation to give. And when we are talking about obligation to give, basically it's giving something, it's giving a thing. Later on, we will discuss what is this something. Now, aside from the obligation to give, Article 1163 enshrined another obligation on the part of the debtor. As we can see here, the debtor is also obliged to take care of this something with the proper diligence of a good father of a family. Meaning to say, before delivering the obligation to give, or before delivering the thing that is the subject of the obligation to give, okay, the debtor has to employ taking care of it, okay, with a certain level of diligence. And this provision, 1163, mentioned about the so-called diligence of a good father of a family. Later on, we will be defining what do we mean by diligence of a good father of a family, and how is this level of diligence is different with other kinds of diligence, because under the law we have different levels of diligence. Okay, diligence of a good father of a family is only one of them, although this is the most common type of diligence. Okay, now on the latter part of this provision, we can see that just in case the parties agreed into another standard of care, another level of care, or just in case the law provides that instead of diligence of a good father of family, another standard of care is required, then that standard of care that is either required by the law or stipulated by the parties must be observed. So basically speaking, the debtor has to observe diligence of a good father of a family, except if there is another standard of care provided by the law or stipulated by the parties. Later on, we will be having some examples of instances wherein the law requires another standard of care. Now, let's go to this term, something. Okay? So it pertains to the primary obligation of the debtor, that is giving what is supposed to be given. Giving the prestation, giving the object that has been agreed upon by the parties. And this thing is either generic thing or a specific thing. Okay? When we talk about determinate thing or a specific thing, this is when the object is particularly designated or physically segregated from all others of the same class. Meaning to say, specific siya. Okay? That's why determinate is synonymous to the term specific. Okay? It can be individually classified or determined from the others. From the word itself, determinate means that it can be determined from all others. I have here an example. The horse of Romeo named Alden. A motorcycle, a Kawasaki Raider with engine number and plate number, etc. Romeo's one and only Rolex with serial number 265747. So these things are specific. So kung ito yung naging subject ng obligation, ito dapat yung kailangang ibigay. Okay? Now, in contrast to this specific thing, we also have indeterminate or generic thing. Okay? Kabaliktaran ng determinate natin or specific, this thing is not particularly designated or physically segregated from all others of the same class. It means that a thing cannot be specifically determined from the things of the same class. Thus, the thing can be what? Replaced by another thing that is of the same quality. Minsan kasi sa isang obligasyon, hindi ina-specify. Like for example, you are obliged to give me 100,000 pesos. You're obliged to give me a horse. You are obliged to give me a t-shirt. So, any t-shirt will do. Any horse will do. Any 100,000 will do. Okay? So, yon. Okay? Now, what's the catch? Okay, what's the catch? Why there is a need of determining whether or not a particular thing that has to be given is generic or specific? That is because of this phrase. Okay, I have here some sort of puzzle. Okay, so what is this legal maxim that is directly related, or that we can always incorporate whether or not the thing is generic or specific? This is the term called, ayan, I think you already know this one, no? The term genus nunquam perit, okay? When we talk about genus nunquam perit, basically, it means generic thing never perishes. Anong pinaka-ibig sabihin ng generic thing never perishes? Okay? It's important to know if a thing is determinate or indeterminate because of Article 1262. Let me read it, okay? Article 1262 states that the loss of a determinate thing through a fortuitous event, what's the effect? It extinguishes the obligation. Meaning to say that if a determinate thing is lost without the fault of the debtor, then the debtor has no obligation anymore. So, ligtas ka na sa obligasyon mo. Kung ang obligasyon mo ay determinate thing at ito ay nawala sa dahilang hindi kontrolado at hindi ginusto ng debtor. That is the very relevance of determining whether your obligation is an obligation to give a specific thing or an obligation to give a generic thing. That's what we meant by the legal term genus nunquam perit. Okay? Take note of that. Again, what is the importance of determining whether or not an obligation is an obligation to give something that is generic or specific? That is because of Article 1262, which provides that the loss of a determinate thing through a fortuitous event extinguishes the obligation. Sir, so kung ang obligasyon ko ay obligation to give generic thing, kahit mabagyo pa yung pera na ibabayad ko dapat, kahit nahulog sa tawag nito sa sinkhole yung kabayo na plano kong ibigay, may obligation pa rin po ako. The answer is yes, because your obligation is obligation to give generic thing. That's why it's very important to know whether or not ang thing na ibibigay mo is generic or specific. Okay? Now, aside from Article 1262, the importance of determining whether or not the thing is generic or specific is also because of Article 1165. So, dalawa. 1262 saka 1165. Ano bang sinasabi ni 1165? Okay? According to Article 1165, if we're talking about determinate things, ano pang mga remedyo ni creditor? Compel delivery plus damage. Piliting i-deliver. We're talking about obligation to give, ha? Kasi if it's an obligation to do, hindi pwedeng pilitin, gawin. Okay? Explain natin as we go through yon. Pero, pag obligation to give, specific thing, number one remedy, compel the delivery. Sir, what if hindi niya talaga may deliver? Damages. Okay? That is different with obligation to give generic thing. Kasi sa generic thing, kahit hindi niya may deliver, since generic yung i-deliver niya, I can ask another person to deliver it, but take note, at the expense of the debtor. Okay? Why is that possible? Because we're talking about generic thing. It can be sourced anywhere. Okay? But since there's also breach because there's a failure on the part of the debtor to deliver, the very thing, the primary obligation, then both the indeterminate thing and generic thing, okay, pwedeng mag-ask yung creditor ng damages. Okay? Again, bakit importanteng malaman kung generic or specific? Dahil sa Article 1262 at Article 1165. Okay? Are we clear with that? Now, going back to our provision, 1163, anong naka-enshrine na obligation dito? To give the thing itself and to take care with the diligence required. Okay? Now, aside from that two, ano pa yung ibang obligasyon ng debtor pag ang pinag-uusapan natin ay obligation to give? Ito, yung second at yung third. Under Article 1164, you also have the obligation to deliver fruits. Okay? Fruits ng ano, sir? Fruits kapag yung bagay na kailangan mong i-deliver is going to bear some fruits. Later on, we will discuss what are the different kinds of fruits. So you have to deliver it. Okay? Explain natin yan further as we go on. Okay? And according to 1165, aside from that, you also have the obligation to deliver the accessions and accessories. So to summarize, if you have the obligation to give, apat yan. Unang-una, the primary obligation to give the thing itself. Pangalawa, to take care of it with the diligence required. Okay? Pangatlo, to deliver the fruits. Pang-apat, to deliver also the accessions and accessories. Anong legal basis natin? 1163, 1164, 1165. Okay? Hindi lang basta ibigay yung thing itself, ha? Kasi hindi lang naman 1163. Meron pang 1164 saka Article 1165. Now, let's dig deeper into Article 1163. Doon sa tinatawag nating taking good care of it. Okay? So, take note that after the contract is perfected, but before delivery, kunwari, today tayo nag-usap, asikasuhin ko pa yung papeles, kaya next week ko pa madideliver yung lupa na binili mo sa akin. So, yon. So, after the constitution of the obligation and before delivery, okay, anong dapat kong gawin dun sa object? I have to take care of it para kapag binigay ko sa'yo, buong-buo siya. Okay? Nabanggit natin yan kanina that when we're talking about taking care of it, there is a diligence required, and under Article 1163, the diligence required is so-called proper diligence of a good father of a family. Okay? But that is only, again, let me highlight, the general rule. Ano ulit yung exception na nabanggit kanina sa 1163? Except when the law or the stipulation of the parties requires a different standard of care. Okay? Now, if through negligence, kapabayaan nung debtor na magdi-deliver, may nangyari dun sa object, then the debtor is liable for damages. Kasi nga, anong pinanggagalingan nung liability niya as to damages? Failure to take care. Okay? Take note again that 1163, when we talk about the obligation to take care of it, applies only to a specific thing. Sir, bakit hindi siya applicable sa generic thing? Yung generic thing, kahit nga masira, kahit nga mawala, may obligasyon ka pa rin eh. Diba? That's why this particular obligation to take good care of it with the diligence of a good father of a family applies only to obligations that are considered to be obligations to give a specific thing. Okay? Kasi nga, pag generic, useless. Kasi nga, kahit mawala pa nga yun eh, kahit ma-damage, you still have the obligation to give the original thing being agreed upon. Okay? So, we have discussed already this one. Now, sabi ko kanina, we will discuss the concept of the diligence of a good father of a family. Alam niyo, class, kaya siya tinawag na diligence of a good father of a family. Kasi, parang ang nire-refer ng batas dito, paano ba pinapangalagaan ng isang mabuting father yung kanyang pamilya? So, mag-exercise siya ng pagiging careful, magiging prudent siya, magiging reasonable siya, etc. Okay? For example, I have the obligation to deliver a cake kasi bumili ka sa akin. So, pwede ko ba siyang ikarton tas ipadala lang sa jeep? 'Di ba? Mag-aabang ako dyan sa highway, papadala ko sa Kawayan yung cake, kinarton ko lang. Hindi pwede. Kasi, baka hindi mapangalagaan ng driver yung cake. So, paano ko dapat siya i-deliver? Either ako mismo magdi-deliver or magre-rent ako ng sasakyan para hindi masira yung cake. Okay? Another example, what if ang obligation ko is to deliver a book? Yun, pwede ko lang ilagay sa paper bag. Ipadala ko sa jeep. I-pick up mo sa pag-uusapan nating place. Kasi book lang naman yun. Okay? That is the reasonable standard of care. So, sir, are we saying that when we talk about diligence of a good father of family, it's a case-to-case basis? The answer is yes. Nakadepende kung ano yung thing na kailangang i-deliver. Okay? According to the case of Picard versus Smith, a very old case, conduct is determined in the light of human experience and in view of the facts involved in the particular case. Abstract speculations cannot be of much value here. Instead, reasonable men govern their conduct. How? By the circumstances which are known before them. They are not, of course, supposed to be omniscient of the future. In other words, kailangan alam mo kung paano mapapangalagaan yung thing nang sa ganoon ay makarating siya ng maayos doon sa creditor. Kunwari, magpapadala ako ng vase. Paper bag lang ba? Hindi. Kailangan ko siyang balutin ng papel para kahit tumalbog-talbog sa sakyan, hindi mababasag. So kapag nabasag, dahil hindi ko nilagyan ng proper packaging, kasalanan ko siya. Kasi I failed to exercise the required diligence of a good father of a family. Okay? So, paano natin malalaman, sir, kung in-exercise or nag-employ ng diligence of a good father of a family yung debtor? The same case also provides this test. Tatanungin natin, did the defendant, in doing the alleged negligent act, nag-isip ba siya? Nag-use ba siya ng reasonable care and caution na normally dapat gawin ng isang tao? Kasi kung hindi, negligent siya. Like for example, magpapadala ka ng cake, cake ulit ha, papunta sa isang lugar na ang daan ay rough road. Ikakarton mo lang ba ng normal na karton? Paano mo siya i-deliver? You have to know all of those circumstances. Okay? Para masabing nag-exercise ka ng diligence of a good father of a family. Okay? Now, that is when, sabi ko nga kanina, general rule lang yon. Yung diligence of a good father of a family, that is only the general rule. Punta tayo sa exception. Yung stipulation, madali lang naman eh. Kung in-stipulate ang parties na different standard of care, then so be it. Now, what then are the circumstances by which the law requires a different standard of care? First, standard of care required of banks. Okay? In case of banks, the degree of diligence required is not the diligence of a good father of family. Dapat mas mataas. Why? Kasi magde-deposit ka ng pera mo, di ba? So, ipagkakatiwala mo yung pera mo sa bangko. There is a fiduciary relationship between the bank and the depositor. Therefore, the bank is duty-bound to treat the accounts of their clients with the highest degree of care. Hindi lang diligence of a good father of a family. Okay? Another example. Standard of care required for experts or professionals. If you're an expert or you're a professional, you're expected to be competent. Kasi nga, expertise mo yun eh. Okay? Pag ikaw ay naging tax accountant later on, dapat marunong ka talaga, dapat alam mo yun, dapat competent ka. Kasi pag hindi mo na observe yung required diligence. Common carriers, meaning to say yung mga public utility vehicles natin, yung pag nagko-commute kayo. Okay? So anong nakasalalay doon sa pag nagko-commute kayo? Buhay ng tao, di ba? Yung mga gamit na pinapadala. So that's why hindi lang diligence of a good father of a family ang nire-require ng batas para sa mga common carriers. It's extraordinary diligence. Okay? So, mas mataas. So, yan class, yung mga examples natin ng mga circumstances na ang diligence required is not just diligence of a good father of a family, but another level of care. So, nakadepende yan kung anong batas ang nagre-require. Okay? So, that's when we're talking about taking care of it. Now, how about the next one? The obligation to deliver the fruits. Diba? Sabi natin kanina, aside from giving the thing itself, aside from taking good care of it with the proper diligence, you are also required to give the fruits. Kunwari, yung lupa kanina. Ngayon tayo nag-execute ng deed of sale. Pero next month ko pa maaayos yung papeles. Next month pa natin maita-transfer yung titulo ng lupa sa buyer. So there's a period, right? There's a period from the time the obligation was constituted up to the time the obligation to deliver arises or at the time of the actual delivery. Now, anong fruits ang pinag-uusapan natin dito? Pinag-uusapan ba natin yung fruits like, sir, kapag ba i-deliver ko na yung lupa tas biglang nagkaroon na ng bunga yung mga coconut tree na andoon, kukunin ko ba yung coconut tree at akin na lang or isasama ko yung ibibigay kay buyer? To answer that, let's go to Article 1164. Anong sinasabi ni Article 1164? Under this provision, the creditor, sino si creditor? Yung magre-receive ng lupa. Diba? Kasi on the POV of the lupa, ang creditor yung buyer. But on the POV of the selling price, ang creditor yung seller. Okay? So we're referring here, we are referring here with the thing itself that will be delivered. That's why ang creditor natin dito, yung buyer. Okay? So under Article 1164, the creditor has a right to the fruits of the thing. Kailan? From the time the obligation to deliver the thing arises. Again, fruits na nag-exist from the time the obligation to deliver arises up to the time of actual delivery. Basically, parang may 3 periods tayo dito eh. First period, constitution of the contract. Pangalawa, yung susunod, obligation to deliver arises. Pangatlo, yung date of actual delivery. Let me give you an example. Okay? Kunwari, I oblige to deliver a parcel of land with coconuts. I have to deliver it on, let's say, January 5, 2026. Okay? So, when should I deliver it? When is the date to which the obligation to deliver arises? On January 5. Kasi that's the period being agreed upon. What if ganito naman? Today, nag-usap tayo, bibigay ko sa, I oblige myself to give you my parcel of land with coconuts on it, but the delivery will be on January 15. When is the date kung saan the obligation to deliver arises? Is it today or January 15? It's not today. It's on January 15. So kung may fruits from today up to January 15, kanino yon? Kay creditor ba? Kay buyer ba? Hindi. Sa akin. Why? Because the fruits pertains from the time the obligation was constituted up to the time the obligation to deliver arises. Ang pinatutungkulan nating fruits na kailangan nating i-deliver to the creditor ay yung fruits starting from the time the obligation to deliver the thing arises up to the date of actual delivery. Kunwari, January 15, hindi ko pa siya naibigay. Okay? Tapos nagkaroon pa ng fruits. February 15 ko pa naibigay. So yung fruits from January 15 up to February 15, yun yung isasama kong i-deliver. Pero yung fruits from January 5 to January 15, akin yun. Because according to 1164, only the fruits that pertains from the time the obligation to deliver the thing arises will pertain to the creditor. Okay, I hope we're clear with that. Now, sir, what if, gaya nung first example mo, January 5, nag-usap tayo, tapos January 5, kailangan mo ring i-deliver. So that's an example of pure obligation. Wala na siyang period, no? So, anong mangyayari doon? Kanino yung fruits? Then, sabi ni 1164, ang fruits ay mapupunta sa creditor from the time the obligation the thing to deliver from the time the obligation to deliver the thing arises. Anong date? January 5. So, from today up to February 15, lahat ng fruits magpa-pertain kay creditor. So, ang titignan nyo lang dyan, when was the time the obligation to deliver the thing arises? That's the time you will start counting. Okay? Counting the fruits na mapupunta kay creditor. Okay? Now, however daw, ownership is transferred only upon delivery. So, dun tayo sa January 5, January 15, February 15 na example. Kailan lang magiging pag-aari ni creditor yung lupa saka yung mga fruits? February 15 kasi that's the only time na ma-deliver sa kanya. Sir, before February 15, kung hindi pa pag-aari ni creditor kasi hindi pa na-deliver sa kanya, may karapatan na ba siya dun sa fruits or dun sa lupa before delivery? The answer is yes. Meron pa rin siyang karapatan. Only that, the right over the fruits prior the date of delivery is merely personal. Okay? Kapag na-deliver na sa kanya ng February 15, meron na siyang possession, nasa kanya na yung possession ng fruits kasama ng lupa, okay? From personal right, yung right niya magiging real right na. Okay? Are we clear with that? That's why, prior delivery, the right to the fruits is merely personal. After delivery, the right is already real. Ano ang konsepto? Sir, anong sense kung bakit personal right yan or real right na? Okay? Kasi daw, ang personal right, sabi ng batas, this is a right that you can enforce against the whole world. Pero ang personal right, this is a right that you can enforce only to certain individuals. Sir, what does that mean? Okay? Imagine. Doon tayo sa example natin. January 5, January 15, February 15. May fruits from January 15 to February 15. Dapat kay creditor yon, di ba? Dapat i-deliver ko rin. What if, before February 15, naisipan kong pitasin yung mga bunga at ibenta ko sa iba? Can you ask me later on to pay you the value of those fruits? Yes. Okay? Because you have a right. Okay? What kind of right you have? You have your personal right. Now, what if ayaw mo ng bayad? Gusto mo yung buko mismo. Kasi kunwari magbubuko salad ka sa February 15. Okay? Gusto mong bawiin yung buko. Yung pinagbentahan ko ng buko, buyer in good faith. Okay? Ang ibig sabihin kasi, pag buyer in good faith, hindi pwedeng bawiin sa kanya. Siyempre, wala naman siyang kinalaman. Di ba? Can the creditor compel na yung buko mismo ang ibigay sa kanya? Hindi. Kasi ang priority ng batas, yung buyer in good faith. So anong remedyo ng creditor? Mag-ask siya sa akin ng damages. Or yung value mismo nung buko na dapat naman sa kanya. You get the point? Kasi your right over the buko is merely a personal right. Tama? And when we talk about personal right, it's a right that is only enforceable to specific persons. Itong specific persons na to, ibig sabihin sila yung may kinalaman dun sa transaction. Sino lang ang may kinalaman dun sa pagbenta ng buko na dapat kay creditor? Ako lang, di ba? So your right over the fruits is only enforceable against me. but you cannot enforce it against any person. You can not enforce it against this third person na nakabili ng buko in good faith. That's what we meant as personal right. Sa akin ka lang pwedeng maghabol, hindi mo pwedeng habulin yung nakabili ng buko kasi ang right mo lang ay personal right. Okay? Versus real right. O, nasa yun na yung buko. Okay? Na-deliver ko na sa yung buko, pinabakuran mo na. After February 15, binenta ko yung buko. Tapos biglang kinabukasan, naglalakad ka dun sa lupain mo na may buko na na-deliver ko na sa'yo. Biglang may pumupuntang third person. Sinasabing kukunin niya yung mga buko. Can you tell this third person na hindi niya pwedeng gawin? Kahit nabayaran niya na ako? The answer is yes, because at that time, the buko is already delivered to you. You don't have merely a personal right, you already have a real right. And that real right is enforceable against anyone in the whole world. Okay? That's the concept of real right versus personal right. Okay? So I hope we're clear with that. Okay, I have here a scenario. Gaya lang din nung nabanggit ko, no? Suppose X sells to Y a coconut farm with delivery scheduled on March 1. On March 1, X fails to deliver the farm to Y. Instead, X harvests the coconuts and sells them to Z, who buys them in good faith. Y then files suit against X, seeking delivery of both the coconut farm and the coconuts harvested. The court orders X to deliver the coconut farm to Y. The question, does Y have the right over the coconuts? Under Article 1164, Y acquires a right to the fruits from the time the obligation to deliver the farm arises, and that is on March 1. However, Y's right to the coconuts is only a personal right against X until actual delivery of the farm is made. Now, since X sold the coconuts to Z, a buyer in good faith, before delivering the farm to Y, Y cannot recover the coconuts from Z. Y's right to the coconuts is not real right enforceable against third parties. What then is the remedy of Y? Y's remedy is to claim from X the value of the coconuts that were sold. Okay? So I hope we're clear with the concept of personal right and real right. Okay? Now, what are the different kinds of fruits? Okay? Maybe this is already on your book. Okay? We have 3: natural, industrial, civil. Natural fruits, these are spontaneous product of the soil and the young and other products of animals. Industrial fruits produced by land of any kind through cultivation or labor. Yung mga bunga, mga ganyan. Mga coconuts, etc. Civil fruits, rents, mga ganyan. Result of judicial relations such as rent or interest ng pera na pinahiram. Okay, fruits din yun. But regardless of the kinds of fruits, pare-pareho lang yan na fruits na kailangang i-deliver to the creditor starting from the time or fruits that accrue from the time the obligation to deliver arises up to the time of actual delivery. Okay, those are the important things you have to remember when it comes to the obligation to deliver fruits. Okay, so now we're through about the obligation to deliver the fruits. How about when it comes to the obligation to deliver accessions and accessories? Okay, sabi ng batas, 1166, the debtor must deliver the accessions and accessories even though they may not have been mentioned. So kahit hindi natin sinabi or hindi pinag-usapan na kailangan i-deliver ang accessions at accessories, matik, naturally, kailangan i-deliver. Okay? Pero kung in-stipulate na hindi kasali, then hindi kasali. Pero kung silent, dapat kasali. Okay? Ano ba tong mga accessions at accessories? Okay? Accessions is the right by virtue of which the owner of the thing becomes the owner of everything that it produces, or what we call as accession discreta, or which is incorporated or attached, or accession continua, either naturally or artificially. Okay? Let's explain it further. For example, sa land, anong mga pwedeng accession niya? Mga fruits, mga natural. Parang fruits din, ang accession kasi. Okay? Mga buildings, mga trees planted, mga improvements. Okay? Because these are called accession because what is produced by or attached to the land become part of it. So sir, kailangan ko rin i-deliver yung mga trees planted, mga improvements. Yes, because these are accession. If the obligation is silent, kailangan mo ring i-deliver pati yan. Kunwari, pati pag animals naman, yung mga anak niya, mga offspring. Why? Because the young of animals are natural fruits or accessions. Parang ang konsepto nga ng fruit at accession pareho lang eh. Yung fruits kasi, produce. Itong accession kasi, pwedeng produce or attach. Okay? Pag buildings, mga fixtures, mga elevators, mga built-in cabinets. So, these are incorporated things into the building. That's why these are called accession. So, kailangan mo ring i-deliver yan. Kung ayaw mong maging part ng obligation mo yan na i-deliver, then stipulate that it is not included. Okay? How about accessories? Accessories, an accessory is a thing destined for the use, ornament, or preservation of another thing, which is considered the principal. Okay? Bakit magkasama lagi ang accessory? Kasi this follows the rule of accessory always follows the principal. Okay? Let's have an example. Kunwari house, anong mga pwedeng accessory niya? Keys, door locks, window screen. Because these are accessories that are intended for the use or security of the house. So, kailangan mo ring i-deliver yon. Car, the spare tire, yung mga car jack, mga toolkit, di ba? Nagbenta ka ng sakyan pero kinuha mo yung toolkit. Hindi pwede. Kailangan mo ring i-deliver kasi that's an accessory because these are provided for the use or maintenance of the car. Pag pen, yung takip, yung ink refill, these are accessories. You have to deliver it as well. Okay? The cap and refill are for the use or preservation of the pen. Okay? Or book cover, bookmark, o accessories for protection or use of the book. Mga kailangang, mga kasama talaga nung item. Kung nagbenta ka ng cellphone, matik kasama yung charger. Hindi mo pwedeng sabihin na, cellphone lang naman binenta ko, wala naman sa usapan na kasama yung charger. Naturally speaking, okay, kailangan dapat meron yung charger. Because according to 1166, accessory yon. Kailangan i-deliver kahit hindi napag-usapan. Okay? I hope we're clear with that. Now, let's go to 1167. Okay? Now, this talks naman about, tapos na tayo sa obligation to give. Yun yung mga things that you have to remember. Now, punta tayo sa 1167 talking about obligation to do. Okay? If a person obliged to do something fails to do it, the same shall be executed at his cost. Kailangan pwedeng, kung hindi personal, pwedeng ipagawa sa iba. Pero kapag personal, damages ang remedy. Okay? This same rule shall be observed if he does it in contravention of the tenor of the obligation. Anong ibig sabihin niyang contravention of the tenor of the obligation? Ginawa niya naman pero not in accordance with the pinag-usapan. Not in accordance with the tenor of the obligation. In contravention of the tenor. In contravention of what has been agreed upon. Okay? Furthermore, it may be decreed that what has been poorly done be undone. Kasi nagpapintura ka ng kwarto mo, pangit ng pintura. No? Poorly done. It must be undone by the debtor. At his expense, of course. Okay? When we talk about these personal obligations, diba? Other term ng obligation to do and not to do is personal obligations. Okay? So, what are the remedies on the part of the creditor pag nagkaroon ng breach? Okay? Equivalent performance. Pwede mong ipagawa ulit. Plus damages. Kasi may breach matik may damage. Okay? Equivalent performance, gawin niya ulit. Okay? Kunwari, nirentahan ko si Taylor Swift na kumanta sa birthday ko. Tapos ang sabi ni Taylor Swift, hindi siya makakapunta. Pinadala niya si Taylor Swish. Okay? So, hindi pwede yon. So, kailangan akong bayaran ni Taylor Swift ng damages. Kasi personal yung obligation. Siya lang ang makakakanta. Nag-iisa lang ang Taylor Swift. Parang ganon. Okay? How about obligations to do na hindi naman personal? Kunwari, obligation to tawag nito, to paint a house, obligation to tawag nito, to cook for a catering services. Okay? So what are the remedies? Substitute performance. Pwede mong ipagawa sa iba, pero at the expense of the debtor. Or equivalent performance plus damage. Again, always may damage kasi merong breach. Okay? Again, let me highlight 1170. If things are poorly done, it should be undone at the debtor's expense with the right to damages. Okay? Yun yung obligation to do. In short, kailangan gawin in accordance sa pinag-usapan. Pag hindi, damages. Tapos magkakatalo na lang kung pwedeng equivalent performance or dapat siya. Kapag, tawag nito, sir, doon sa example natin kanina na si Taylor Swift, ayaw niyang kumanta. Ayaw niyang pumunta sa birthday mo. Pwede ko ba siyang pilitin? Pwede ko ba siyang kasuhan na to the point na gusto kong i-request sa court na utusan siya na pumunta talaga siya kumanta sa birthday ko? Hindi. Okay? Because in obligation to do, especially personal obligations, nasa Constitution kasi that hindi pwede ang tinatawag na involuntary servitude. Hindi pwedeng pilitin ang isang tao na gawin ang bagay na ayaw niyang gawin. Kasi ang tawag doon, involuntary servitude. Okay? Eh di sir, anong remedyo mo? Damages. Okay? The remedy is damages. But I cannot file a case to compel this person to do and perform his obligation to do kung ayaw niya. So, anong remedyo ko? Damages. Pero kapag non-personal obligation naman, na yung mga obligation to do na pwede namang gawin ng iba, I can ask other person. Yun ang pwede kong remedyo pa, aside from damage. Okay? Now, let's go to Article 1168. Okay? It talks naman about obligation not to do. When the obligation consists in not doing, okay, and the obligor does what has been forbidden him, pinagbawalan na gawin, pero ginawa, anong sinasabi ng batas? It shall also be undone at his expense. This also includes the obligation not to give. Okay? As simple as that. What then are the remedies of the creditor? Substitute performance and equivalent performance plus damages. Okay? So, pagdating sa obligation to do, not to do, usually remedy ang kailangan yung tandaan. So, I have here a summary of the remedy. Okay? Pag obligation to give determinating, pwede ang specific performance, pwedeng equivalent performance, pero hindi pwede ang substitute performance. Kasi walang substitute yung determinating. Kapag obligation to give determinable thing or generic thing, pwede ang specific performance, pwede ang equivalent performance, pwede ang substitute performance. Pagdating sa obligation to do, you have to qualify whether or not you're talking about very personal obligations or not personal obligations. For obligations to do personal obligations, hindi pwede ang specific performance kasi magiging involuntary servitude yon. Pero pwede ang equivalent performance. Pero hindi pwede ang substitute performance kasi walang substitute yung personal obligation to do something. Pag not personal obligation, hindi rin pwede ang specific performance. Kasi papasok rin yun sa involuntary servitude. Pero pwede ang equivalent performance at substitute performance. Pag obligation not to do, not applicable ang specific performance, kasi hindi nga dapat niya gawin. Pero, pwede ang equivalent performance at substitute performance. Okay? So, that is the summary of the remedies depending on the kind of obligation. Okay? So, if I can give important key points here, you just have to understand 1163, yung obligasyon nakasama sa obligation to give, which is basically taking care of it. Also, the effect and importance of identifying whether or not the thing that should be given is generic or specific. So that lies under Article 1262 and 1165. Okay? Then idagdag mo yung pagdating sa fruits. Okay, ito lang tatandaan mo from the time the obligation to deliver the thing arises. Then, yung obligation to deliver accessions and accessories. Even they are not mentioned, they have to be delivered. Except if they are mentioned not to be delivered. Okay, then, yung obligation, pagdating sa obligation to do. Okay? And pagdating din sa obligation not to do. Okay? So that is typically the content of our lecture for this session. Okay? On the last part of this one, I would like you to see the additional assigned readings for our next meeting. Okay? If you have question, you may PM me or you may send question on the GC natin. Okay? So that wraps up our session. So I hope you have understood the important parts that you need to understand on the part 1 of the nature and effects of obligations. Okay? Have a nice day.